battles on distant battlefields. There was nothing frivolous in either her manner or her appearance. She made no effort to flatter her face with colourful cosmetics or her figure with elegant fabrics. I looked about the room, which reflected the taste of its occupant. The walls were stained deep red and sombre yellow. Instead of depicting an image from history or Homer, the impeccably crafted mosaic floor displayed an array of interlocking geometric patterns in muted colours. The furnishings were exquisite but few: woolen rugs, bronze lamp holders, and the single backless chair made of ebony inlaid with lapis tiles in which my hostess sat. It was not the reception hall of a queen. Those I had seen in Egypt, bright with gold and dripping with ornaments, their dazzle intended to intimidate all who entered. And yet, in fact, if not in name, Calpurnia was now the queen of Rome, and Caesar, having defeated every rival, was its king, though for now he preferred the venerable title of dictator, the office our ancestors created so that a strong man could rule the state in times of emergency. But if rumors were true, that Caesar intended to make the Senate declare him dictator for life, how was he any different from the kings of olden days, before Rome became a proud republic? "Caesar is in danger," Calpurnia said abruptly. She clasped her hands tightly in her lap. Her face was taut. "Great danger. That's why I've called you here." The statement struck me as so peculiar that I laughed out loud, then checked myself when I saw the look on her face. If the most powerful man on earth, the victorious survivor of a brutal civil war that had wreaked havoc across the whole world, was in danger, what could Gordianus the Finder do to protect him? "I'm sure that Caesar can look after himself," I said. "Or if he wants my help, then he can ask me—" "No!" Her voice rose sharply. This was not the dispassionate, coldly calculating Calpurnia I knew, but a woman touched by genuine fear. "Caesar doesn't realize the danger. Caesar is distracted." "Distracted?" "He's too busy preparing for his upcoming triumphs." I nodded. There were to be 4 triumphal processions in the days to come. The first, to celebrate Caesar's conquest of Gaul, would take place 3 days hence. "Caesar is consumed with the planning and arrangements," she said. "He intends to give the people a series of spectacles such as they've never seen before. Small things fall below his notice, but small things can grow to be great things. They say the Nile crocodile begins life as a creature hardly bigger than my little finger. Yet it very quickly grows into a monster that can bite a man in 2. "Exactly. That's why I've called you here, Gordianus. You have a nose for danger and a taste for finding the truth." She raised a finger. The gesture was so slight I barely noticed it, but an alert slave standing just outside the doorway hurried to her side. "Bring Porsenna," said Calpurnia. The slave departed without a sound. A few moments later, a grey-bearded man entered the room. He wore the yellow costume of an Etruscan haruspex. Over a bright tunic was a pleated cloak fixed at his shoulder with a large clasp of finely wrought bronze. The clasp was in the shape of a sheep's liver, marked into numerous sections, with notations in the Etruscan alphabet etched into each section, a diviner's chart for locating omens amid the entrails. On his head the haruspex wore a high conical cap, held in place by a strap under his chin. Haruspicy was the Etruscan science of divination. From ancient days, Rome's neighbours to the north worshipped a child god called Tages, who had snakes for legs. Long ago, Tages appeared to an Etruscan holy man in a freshly ploughed field, rising from the dirt and bearing books filled with wisdom. From those books, the science of haruspicy was born. Even before Rome was founded, the Etruscans were examining the entrails of sacrificed animals to predict every aspect of the future, from the outcome of great battles to the next day's weather. They were also adept at interpreting dreams and at finding meaning in various phenomena. Lightning, freakish weather, strange objects fallen from the sky, and the birth of monstrously deformed animals were all attempts by the gods to communicate their will to mankind. Haruspicy had never become a part of Rome's official state religion. To determine the will of the gods, Roman priests consulted the Sibylline books, and Roman augurs observed the flight of birds. Roman priests sacrificed animals, to be sure, and offered the blood and organs to the gods, but they did not presume.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.